hard to believe it.
Had you told me a year ago it was going to take an 80-year-old Harrison Ford coming out of retirement to reprise his role as Indiana Jones in order for me to come out of hiding and get on these airwaves to vent about it, I would have said you're crazy. But here we are. And there's a lot of news that came out in Hollywood this week. Not only was the trailer released for the new Indiana Jones, but also we have some shocking news that came out of DC, and I want to get into it tonight. Some things. Patty Jenkins, I guess, has walked off the set of Wonder Woman 3. There's some news now. They're not going to make a new Superman with Henry Cavill. They may be looking to go in a different direction with James Gunn. What is this, and how does this all affect AMC in the future and the possibility of our play still working out? I want to try and get into that tonight. There have been some shakeups also in the government. We've seen that there was an arrest today right before he's about to testify. Our good buddy here, SBF. But yeah, a lot of news coming out. AOC dropped a documentary this weekend. A lot of things we got to talk about. We might even need to break this video up and put it into two parts. But before we do any of that and get way too far ahead of ourselves,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
Last several years, we've warned woke Hollywood time and time again that if you continue down this path, you will fail. If you continue to push identity politics, virtue signaling, pushing a woke narrative down people's throats instead of actually entertaining the audience, that audience is just going to leave. It might happen slower than you think. It might not happen as quick as you think, but it will eventually happen. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We are seeing the death of woke Hollywood right now, whether people want to admit it or not. Because we continue to have record-breaking weekends like this, and it's not a good thing for Hollywood. But for the fans, for the audience that's out there, for the audience that wants this stuff to stop and know that it won't stop until they actually feel it in their wallets, this is great news.
Good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022, and that last clip right there was from Ryan Kinnell, RK Outpost, and I don't always agree with Ryan on everything, but on this matter right now, what's going on in Hollywood after the abysmal numbers we have seen coming out from the theaters, I have to agree with him 100% here. Until these people start feeling it on their bottom line, we are going to continue to get this narrative and agenda and this message pushed in our face 24/7. Being a shareholder of a theater company, it is not the most relaxing feeling knowing that's going on behind the scenes and that there is a systematic takedown of storytelling in movies. And if I was just a regular Joe on the streets who was just looking for a good matinee to hit up on Saturday with my girl, it would probably be a different story, right? But being a shareholder of a theater company, then I got to address these concerns, and I have serious concerns about where Hollywood is heading. Now, how much of an effect will that have, or a correlation will it have between the theater revenue and what AMC does as compared to the production companies? We're going to try to get into that a little later tonight, and like I said, we're probably going to have to break this up into two videos because there's so much we got to get to. But let's talk about what just happened in the last 24 hours. News has come down that Sam Bankman-Fried, when he was just about to go into Congress tomorrow and testify, has been picked up by the Bahamian authorities, which I think is quite interesting that he's not going to testify now because he's going to be in jail. Should be interesting to see if this guy's going to sing or not. So obviously, I'll stay on top of this story But for right now, looks like Sam Bankman-Fried is going to spend some time in jail. I'm sure he's got bond money, but I think eventually they're going to have no choice. This guy's going to get drugged in front of Congress. So I don't know how this is going to play out with FTX. Jordan Belfort was on Jesse Waters earlier. I'm going to play you a little clip of that, what he said. Watch.
Well, I didn't have any money at FTX. I think the whole concept of like what FTX represented, which was a brokerage firm that's, you don't know how they're holding your money. It's overseas, and even his domestic operations in the U.S. were really lightly regulated. So I didn't lose money. It was, listen, I will admit, though, that not that I was fooled by it, but, you'd have no way of knowing how much fraud someone is committing unless you can look inside their books.
Well, what if you just look at what they're wearing?
Telltale signs.
What if the guy has an afro with gym shorts and he's shaking like this?
So the people that actually did due diligence, they actually should have their heads examined, because if I would have walked into this place and taken one look around, it would have taken me 5 seconds flat to say there is something amiss here. There's no way these guys are on the level. He was playing video games. They're all banging each other in this insane. It was more like a frat house than a business, right? And the guy that took over, this guy Ray, who was the receiver, is saying that it is all his years, he's never seen something so poorly run, with no governance, no controls. How could all those big, sophisticated funds from Sequoia on down have given this guy money and not picked up on any of this? That I don't know. It's impossible.
He had beds in the boardroom, and the boardroom was in the Bahamas, a tax haven. Okay, so there you go right now.
Yeah.
And now he's complaining that he doesn't have a proper vegan diet behind bars.
So Jordan goes on in that interview and says that he would have smelled out this scam in about 5 seconds from FTX. Hindsight's always 20/20, Jordan. But he seems to be on top of it. He didn't invest his money in it like a lot of other supposed smart people did. Yeah, I don't know where this goes. I find the timing of all this highly suspicious, and I am so sick and tired of people getting a free pass over and over and over again, breaking the law, using manipulation and corruption tactics to mess with the market. I am just sick and tired of it. So sick and tired of it. One of my reasons I've stayed off of YouTube, just because I'm so tired of the bullshit.
Do you think some lawmakers that got donations from FTX's founder should give that money back?
Well, I don't want to get into that. As a matter of fact, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, have received donations. So.
All right, but we got to move on to the movies and the shakeups and the news that came down this week. Wonder Woman 3's cancellation shouldn't shock anyone. Now, it has since been followed up and found out that actually what happened was Patty Jenkins, who directed the second, wrote the second, and directed the first, but did not write the first Wonder Woman, was working on Wonder Woman 3, and that she walked off the project. The site also reported the director let Warner Brothers co-CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi know that they were wrong and that they didn't understand her, didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. Whether or not this is true is unfortunate. However, Wonder Woman 3 hitting a wall shouldn't shock anyone. Yeah, after Wonder Woman 1984 came out and they made it about Orange Man Bad, and it came out, to streaming the same day, there was a bunch of reasons why it did poorly. First of all, it had no Snyder behind it. I think that's a big reason. There are some great things about Wonder Woman. I loved the first one. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, this is kind of it's kind of an interesting situation. I don't know which way the studio was going. Obviously, they're having a different opinion on something major in the story. So they're clearly on two different paths. And if I would say anything about the last movie that Patty Jenkins walked off of was a Star Wars movie. She was supposed to direct Rogue Squadron, and she walked off of that set, right? Saying that they had creative differences. So Patty Jenkins might just be a little nuts in the head. I don't know. What I will say, and I'm going to try and wrap this up next minute so I can let you go. And like I said, we'll have part 2 come out tomorrow. I'm also going to reach out to Tony, see if he wants to do a live stream. But I don't think that either or any of these movies on their own or the production companies on their own can put a halt or put the brakes on a squeeze for AMC, let's say sometime in the next 6 to 12 months. I just don't see that being an issue. For the long-term effects on the theater, it could be detrimental. I'm not going to lie about that. And that makes me sad as a fan of the movies. But as far as the squeeze go, I don't think that any of this is going to have, or any one single event or flop or anything like that, or a production house going down can take us out of the play. And I think that's the positive message I want to send tonight as I let you go. All right, so tomorrow we'll have number 2 up, and sorry for the delay on getting material out. As always, guys, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.
We don't fuck anymore. We don't suck anymore. We don't lick anymore like we used to.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?